Welcome guys! When it comes to selecting your muzzle attachment, you have three choices: flash hider, compensator and suppressor. The suppressor affects the weapon by reducing the noise it makes and limits the sound radius to just above 300 meters, but it has no effect on recoil. So which muzzle attachment should you take if your choice is between the flash hider and the compensator? Obviously we'd expect the compensator to reduce the recoil the most, but is it really necessary to use it on a Mini-14 as it has super low recoil already? This guide will show you exactly how the two attachments react and help you pick the one that suits your playstyle better. We will test the following: short to mid-range test using fast clicking, and a long-range test using slow clicking. So starting off with the Mini-14 without any muzzle attachment. Like I said, it's no secret that the Mini has very low recoil, and for that reason people like to click fast, thereby achieving high DPS with high accuracy. So let's see how much the attachments actually affect the recoil when shooting fast. And this test is basically just to see if anything strange happens and to check the vertical recoil and if things seems to work as expected. Next is the compensator, and we should definitely see less overall recoil here. Okay, so far so good. And finally, the flash hider. Which, as expected, reduces recoil, but not as much as the compensator. The high horizontal recoil here is a deviation which can occur regardless of attachment. So it seemed that everything here worked as expected, and there's not much interesting going on here. But now let's get to the interesting part, the slow clicking test. Because since the Mini-14 is a sniper rifle, you will be using it at a distance quite often, and here it's interesting to see how each attachment affects the recoil when clicking slowly. The test works like this. I am 200 meters away from this sign, and I will be shooting in the red dot of the exclamation mark. I will fire one shot and let the weapon rest before firing another. Then I'll be plotting each shot using the fence as a reference. I will only be firing 15 shots per attachment, so we won't get too many overlapping points. But that should be enough to get a pretty good idea of how each attachment affects the slow clicking recoil. So already we're seeing a big spread in where our scope ends up, aka our muzzle rise or muzzle climb. We're seeing quite a few points in the upper part of the plot, but still quite a few is in the center of the plot. Doesn't seem all that bad. Next is the flash hider, and I definitely expect to see less spread given that we're now using a muzzle attachment. After the first few shots, we can see that the spreads still remain quite high, but appears to be slightly lower. And I think it's quite interesting to see that so many shots land in almost the same place. This means that the recoil pattern is now more predictable. And we even see 5 points ending in the same place. But what about the king of recoil reduction, the compensator? I'm ready to be amazed, and I'd expect the compensator to behave more predictably with less spread compared to the flash hider. starting off really good in terms of having a tight recoil pattern. So definitely noticeably less spread, and we even saw a super low muzzle rise of one of those shots. Good job, compensator. So what can we conclude from this test? There's a noticeable effect in the reduction of muzzle rise when using both the flash hider and the compensator. Based on this test, we can clearly see that the spread in the recoil pattern is tighter using the compensator compared to the flash hider. But the difference is really not that big at all. And we have to remember that when sniping at a long range, it is increasingly important not to get spotted rather than gaining that extra recoil benefit. And for that reason, I think the flash hider is probably the best choice when sniping people at a distance. Since I've not plotted more than a total of 45 shots, I think this is the only thing we can safely conclude from this test. So what did we learn? Well, we learned that the compensator is clearly the best choice when using the Mini-14 as a close to mid-range weapon. The faster you shoot, the better the compensator really is. We also learned that at long range the flash hider does lose to the compensator, but the difference is not that big, making the flash hider a strong choice since you will be harder to spot too. I will likely be going for the flash hider over the compensator most of the time, since I personally like to use the Mini for long range fights rather than close range. Now that's all I had for you guys in this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, subscribe to the channel and also join my awesome community on Discord. And I'll see you guys next time.